friends. Welcome to Coding Garden. Welcome to a weird one. So today the plan is to build an app using AngularJS 1.8 and ES5. Now you might be wondering, why would on earth would I want to do that? Mainly for teaching purposes. I want a really good example of a fairly complex app that was built with not modern technology, so that I can contrast it with modern technologies. That's really my main motivation. Nothing other than that. Also, it might be that while we're working on this, we realize that the last 6 years of progress in front-end web development and JavaScript have made our lives so much harder. Maybe not for the better. I don't know. We're probably not going to figure that out. But what we are going to do is we're going to build this. So this is called Movies app. It's from Taste.js. They are the same people that do To-Do MVC. And essentially, they have like a rundown of all the features to implement. And people have implemented it with various different frameworks. So like Next.js, Angular with server-side rendering, Nuxt, Astro, Solid, SvelteKit, Lit, Quick. People have built this same app in a lot of different ways. And so I'm not building this to compare really even against these directly. I'm just using this because it's a set list of features. We know what we want to build, and we can look at examples whenever we're implementing. So that's the plan there. And in terms of styles, I haven't decided yet. We might use something like Pico CSS just to make it easy, because this just gives us styles by default. But maybe we use Bootstrap. I don't know. We'll decide that soon. Yeah, we're not going to use Tailwind or anything like that. We're going to use honestly, that might be why we use Bootstrap. We want to use something that would have existed in 2015 or earlier. Yeah, probably Bootstrap. Yeah, that's okay. I'm going to do my best to like explain some things, but also I want to get this app built. Obviously, this has a lot of features to implement. So for the first few, like the homepage showing popular movies, showing an individual movie page, I think these two things, I'll explain everything as I go. I'll answer any questions you have. But then we might turn this into like a co-working stream. I'll stop talking and then I'll just start coding because I want to get most of this stuff done. That's the plan anyways. Yeah, well, I think that's the thing. I don't think we would even use a component library. We would just use a CSS framework because we want to focus on just bare Angular. The other thing, I guess I mentioned this, but you may not have caught it. We're only going to use ES5. So there is no const. There is no const. In ES5, you get an error that says the keyword const is reserved. There are no arrow functions. If you try to write an arrow function, you're going to get a syntax error, unexpected token, parentheses. So we're using ES5. We're using, I guess I mentioned it, but Angular 1.8. This is the other thing to mention. So if you've heard of Angular, you might have heard of the modern Angular. And the way that you refer to it is as Angular. The old Angular is AngularJS. And this is what we're going to use. And we're literally just going to add it from a CDN. So we have a CDN link, very similar to how you used to add jQuery to your page. Very similar. I contemplated using something like Bower. Maybe we do use Bower. Yeah, I think we'll use Bower because technically, even if we use Bower, we can still like add references to the scripts. Yeah, well, I don't think I'm going to limit myself to older CSS. Because I would probably struggle if I had to limit myself to that. Yeah. What's up, Robert Tables? Yes, we're stepping back in time. And to be fully transparent, my whole idea here is if you look at my React Roots course, the very first lesson is intro to modern web development. So this is going to happen next week, and I want to have a project that I can reference when we're talking about things like transpilers and bundlers and package managers and modern features of JavaScript. So I want to build like a really big app that doesn't use any of this stuff, so that way I can compare and contrast. That's really my main motivation here, just to have a code base that I can point at and show as an example when I'm talking about more modern stuff. No, so Bower was like one of the original. That's the other cool thing about this is this will be a trip down memory lane. If anybody remembers Bower, I mean, I think technically you can still use Bower, but these days people just use npm instead. But Bower was the package manager before npm existed. And they basically have like a package registry. So you could install jQuery, you could install Angular, you could install Lodash, and it just puts it in a directory, but then you would still add a reference to your HTML file. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Robert Tables. I think anyways, like, I just hope what I was worried about was I was like, you know what? I'm gonna love writing this so much that I just am gonna abandon everything and advocate that we all go back 10 years. But at that point, it's just like old man yells at cloud. I don't know. I actually am very curious about what kind of scores we'll get, because there will be no server-side rendering. This is all going to be client-side rendering. So it's probably going to do pretty bad on the like Lighthouse scores, just because it has to load so much JavaScript. But yeah. When did tree shaking come into the scene? I mean, probably when it came into bundlers, because I think the other thing is, I mean, honestly, well, yeah, Gulp.js. I was like, is that gonna find it? This is the thing we use before more modern bundlers like Webpack and Vite and Rollup and Parcel. Gulp was the thing, and then there was Grunt before that. But the simplest form of all this stuff is to take all of your source code and put it into a single bundle, like a single file. And so tree shaking came along because it's like, oh, well, we're gonna put it all in one place anyways, so we can figure out what's being used and what's not being used. Oh yeah, can we use promises? We might have to use callbacks for everything. Oh, but the other thing is like Angular, which actually, I mean, you might not know this. Well, okay, so I think I digress. I started talking Angular, full stop, is the modern one. If someone says AngularJS, they're referring to the old one, which capped out at version 1.8. But the modern Angular is like version 14 or something like that. The old way, no edge, just serverless. Yeah, that's the other. Well, here's the other thing that I'm thinking. Like, because this is going to be a completely front end app, it's like infinitely scalable. We literally just deploy it to a CDN and we're done. Any one of these other solutions all require some kind of backend. But yeah, so if you look in the tutorial here, XHR and dependency injection. So Angular actually gives you this thing called $HTTP, and I do believe it is, well, I guess I don't think we'll use $resource. I think we'll actually just use $HTTP. But we can use it, and then, yeah, see, it does have a .then on it. But I think this was like early promises. Anybody remember Bluebird? Bluebird, oh, I mean, I guess I shouldn't search for Bluebird. Bluebird.js was, I do believe, a way to use promises before promises were natively supported. So that was a thing. There's also jQuery defer. So like, we have nice ways of dealing with and using at least promises. I don't know. Let me welcome everybody in, and then we'll get right into it. But basically, the idea is we're going to build this. We're going to talk to themoviedb. They have an API, and we are going to build this landing page right now. That's the first thing we're going to do. Is you get a landing page, it shows up, it shows all the popular movies that come back from the API. And then if you click on a movie, you see the details, and then you see recommended movies below it. That's what we're going to build. So here we go. In Taffman, thank you for the prime. AngularJS was my first job. Never again. Here's the thing. I really, really liked AngularJS. I think it was really easy to write bad AngularJS. Not to say that you were writing bad AngularJS, but if you inherited an old code base and people were like using root scope everywhere, and then also if they did a lot of things that like made it slow because there were too many watchers, I get it. But I was really good at Angular, and I could build fast, decent websites with Angular. So, you know, but there were some supports. Thank you. Justin 7 stars with the 3 months. Thank you. Limeoats with the 31 months. That's insane. Akos with the 2 month prime. Thank you. Robert Tables with the 3 months and Taffman with the 3 months. Thank you all very much. Yeah, deferred. Anybody remember jQuery deferred? All right, let's say hi to everybody. And then we'll get into it. So do I think Angular was the framework which triggered everyone? There were multiple. Like Angular wasn't the only one, but it was definitely one of the main ones. The other thing is you can do components with AngularJS. I'll probably say Angular sometimes. I'll probably say AngularJS. Today and for the next few hours, I am referring to the old one, not the new one. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, Angular has a concept of components. I guess this is honestly the thing that I want to show is like even before we had imports and exports, people figured out a way to like organize their code decently. So and also it had the idea of breaking your app down into components, and you could have components in separate files, and your JavaScript code could be separate from your template. You could do a lot of stuff 10 years ago. The Sheboss, thank you very much for the gift. All right, let's say hi to everybody, and then we'll get into it. Welcome in, Electrothermal. Glad to see you. Use this. Use local storage? What am I looking at, Timon? Are these movies? Well, the main reason I want to use the MovieDB is because all these apps are built with that same API. So that's my plan, anyways. Yeah, you could create custom directives. That's a thing. We're gonna do our best. Check this out. I have the AngularJS style guide open. We're gonna do our best to write some decent Angular, but I'm not gonna spend a ton of time like trying to make everything perfect. But you know, I'm gonna do my best. All right. Would this be called old school? I guess so, but it feels really weird because 10 years ago doesn't really feel that old. But 10, 11 years ago, yeah. I mean, the thing is, even like 7 years ago, people were building apps this way. I turned Copilot off. All right, let's say hi to everybody. If you want me to say hello to you, you can say hi, hello, hello, hey, yo, cheers, greetings, hi, us up, what's up, morning, afternoon, evening, howdy, good day, coding, hi-yo, bohayo, or bogahay. Say any one of these things, and I'll acknowledge you. I'll say hi. We're going to go back in time to Zelino, first one in the chat, to say, hey, welcome in, Zelino. And hello to Alka. What's up, Mark and Yada Dev and Amasil and Shirkum and Hushu and Stas. What's up, just 7 stars. And Yankarevik. Hello. What's up, Pranyan? And Akos and Mr. Diza. What's up, Timon? The Almighty Aaron and Ismer. Hello, Lester Wolf. How to make a subathon timer Twitch extension. I've in WRN Gwirled. Thank you for the prime. Appreciate you. I've never built one, but you could use TMI.js for everything because basically this is going to let you listen. If you look at the types of events, let's go look at GitHub because it has like the docs, TMI.js, docs, posts, latest version, events. So if you look at the possible events, you have things like subscription, sub-gift, and I guess that's really the main events that you want to listen for. And then from there, you just write the code. So you basically you have a start time, you increase that, and then you have like time left. Every time a new sub comes in, you increase the time left. You could store the subs in a database, so that way you could, if the app ever goes down, you can always know how many new subs there were to calculate the time remaining, that kind of thing. But it's doable. It's doable. I've never built one though. But what's up, Robert Tables? And Tunahan, welcome in. Yeah, and Limo's glad to see you. What's up, Dev Heronique and Nuki Poo and Electrothermal? Hello, Calvaria and the Sheboss and It's by Therio and BJ Sebastian. What's up, Look To and Marcus Barbula and the Oxdy and Age Monkey. What's up, Burn MTA and Arpats and Ivan the Raging Python. What's up? Hello, Cute Pony and John DeRista and Sound of Gaming and Old School Rapper and Julian and X Palma and Jords and Big Badaboom. Hello, what's up, Fallen Looms and Irosum and Spark. What's up, Kakoos? And Malin and Pop Blip and John Lick, the one. Welcome in, everybody. Glad to see you. You were at the I wasn't streaming yesterday. What's up, Nam? Hello. Hello. Let's write some code. So, we need to get our app up and going, and we are we're just gonna write the code. So, I'll have to remember all the ways that I wrote AngularJS. But I do believe we're gonna try to keep our code organized. So let's start with our entry point. We're just gonna have an index.html file. Maybe. There we go. Well, not that old. So that's the thing, is you can get real old, but not that old. Okay, so we've got an HTML document. We're gonna call this movies app. And then we can look at not this Angular, the old Angular. We can look at the old Angular on how to do this stuff. So this little directive right here, ng app, tells Angular that it should be enabled on this entire HTML page. And then we need some styles and we need Angular. So let's do that now. I guess we'll just use Bootstrap. I mean, honestly, I don't know. Anybody in the chat, do you know about Movies app? I started looking at some of the repos, but I couldn't tell. Like, is there shared CSS that I can pull in, or do I just need to write my own stuff? Yeah, okay, and again, I'm not gonna write my own. Okay, Pico CSS is on the table, but let's look at Bootstrap. And then, yeah, we could go back to version 3, Bootstrap 3. Anybody remember Bootstrap 3? I remember for the longest time, it was like, Bootstrap 4 is coming soon. I guess we could use version 3. Let's see. The thing is, they don't have dark mode. They don't have dark. I guess we could pull in a dark theme. So Bootswatch has themes. Can we find? Yeah, if we could find Bootswatch version 3 and pull one of these in, because one of the things about Movies app is they have the dark mode or light mode, so we could choose which CSS to load accordingly. Let's do that. We're just gonna use this. If we're doing something for 10 years ago, should be. I guess that's true, but we could still do somewhat modern things with older stuff. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, but that's version 5 has dark mode, not version 3. We're gonna go with Bootstrap version 3. That's our plan. And right now we're gonna default to darkly. And we want bootstrap.min.css. Great. So we've got the CSS. We bring it in. We add a link. We throw the CSS in. And now we have ourselves a nice little styled app. Now, to serve it up, we could literally just open this file in the web browser, and it works. I do want to use at least like an auto-refreshing thing. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna use Light Server, which you don't have to. Like I said, you could just open the file, but I have Light Server, so this starts a dev server and then this auto refreshes. It's fine. This is not a build tool. Don't get it mixed up. There's no build tool here. It literally just injects a little bit of JavaScript because the process running over here detects file changes, and then if it detects file changes, it auto refreshes the browser. So, for instance, if I add an exclamation mark, I save the page, you can see browser sync connected, it auto refreshes. That's really all I want. It's fine. This is fine. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we're going to use gulp or grunt. We're just going to use CDN links. That's the main thing. Okay, now is the time for the JavaScript. And if you look at the AngularJS website, it's not the old way though. I mean, I have to make some concessions, right? Like we're going to do some things the old way, some things are going to be like slightly newer. Here we go. This right here is Angular as a CDN link. And and we'll just add the script here. I mean, honestly, what I used to do is just put it at the bottom of the body, because then you don't need like a ready function. So you literally just say that we've got Angular, and then we can add our entry point. And so we'll create an app directory and then call it index.js. So I'll create a folder, call it app. Inside of there, we'll create index.js, and this is where we're going to create our Angular app right here. So let's go back to the tutorial, because it's been a very long time since I wrote Angular. Yeah, I think we can use their example. So like on our homepage, let's say we do something like this. Like that. So we want to show some message. And then message doesn't exist, so we'll create it. Yeah, so these are handlebars. These are handlebar templates. I'll leave this open so we can grab the styles from it. I made this with Midjourney. I searched for, the prompt was Cyberpunk Secret Garden pixel art in the style of Metal Slug. So this is like the coding garden, which is pretty cool. Okay, so yeah, from the style guide, they say create an app directory. You can separate your app by features. We really only have one features, which is movies, which is going to be fine. All right, so we added the script. How do we bootstrap AngularJS? Oh, the thing is, we technically, now that we literally just adding Angular to the page does give us access to expressions inside of handlebar. So like if I just throw some math in there, it does it. So it does 1 + 2 = 3. Like it's literally able to, just by adding Angular to the page and having this ng app there, it can literally start interpolating what all of that means. But we want to add some actual code to give it data and components and everything else. So here we go. Static template. Angular templates. Oh, you could specify the app. I think we probably want to do that. So we can define a module. So at our top level, we define a module. We're going to call it movies app. And I have just like a basic ESLint setup so that it complains when we're using things that are not ES5. So we can't use arrow functions, we can't use const or let. So ECMAScript version 5. But I do believe I can say like globals, and I can tell it that Angular is a thing. So that way it doesn't complain anymore. We're not going to get type completion, but it at least doesn't complain that it doesn't exist. So yeah, so now we have a movies app. We've declared the module. Awesome. And then we can define a controller for the, let's call it like movies list. Yeah, so Angular is technically installed because it's in the HTML, and then over here we're using it. But because this script is loading after this one is going to know that Angular does exist. So yeah, it's all just JavaScript. But here's the interesting way that Angular allowed us to write modules essentially without having modules. So we define the top level module movies app there. And then like in here, we could create a folder called movies. This is where all of our features are going to go. And then we could have the movie list controller. And we could define the controller in here. We do something like movies app. We're defining a controller called movie list controller. And then we give it a name. It gets access to scope, and then scope is how we add data to our page. So like we could have movies, and then let's just test this out to show it on the page. So for instance, we could have like office space, and then we can go find an image. But again, so it is complaining that movies app is not defined. But the thing is, I'm actually going to load this controller file below this, and because of global scope, movies app will exist. So right here, if I add a script that brings in movies and then movies list controller, now technically the variables that were defined in here are accessible in here. So what we're gonna do, I mean, ESLint is always gonna complain about this. I don't know the best way to tell it that it exists. I think we can do this. Maybe let's see. Honestly, it is writable. I can reassign it. Yeah, so it was MVC out of the box. So right now we have a controller. We can define a view that like iterates over this array of movies. All right. Honestly, is there a way to tell ESLint that movies app is a global, like at the top of the file? I know that this has nothing to do with Angular, but I just want to get this. I want ESLint to be happy enough. Can you locally declare a global variable for ESLint? Well, why Angular? So I want an example of an older app so I can talk about modern tech and have something to point at. Yeah, I'm not gonna spend too long on the config. I kind of just honestly, we can well, I don't want to disable ESLint for the project, but here's what we'll do. We'll disable that for this line because I do know that exists, because basically it got defined by the thing above it. And then this will be unused because we're defining here. Basically, it's all hooked together here. So we have the Angular library, we have our entry point, which defines a module called movies app, and then we have our controller, which accesses that movies app module to add a controller to it. Right? Okay, great work. Now, we're not going to do any tests. How do we... I guess we kind of want like a movies list component. Actually, here's another way to do this though. Instead of using the variable, we can reference it by name. I think this is better. So if we do this grabs the module from Angular, and then also we don't have to put it into a variable. We can just do that, and that should still be fine. I like this. This seems fine. We can define the template. I do believe we can specify a template file or a template URL instead of defining it in line. But let's just do that for now. So we define a component called movie list. And this is a function. Or it's not a function, it's an object that has a template and then a controller property. So yeah, we're gonna kind of do this all in one. So movie list now takes this controller. Like that. And then the template, for now, we're gonna do this in line here, but it is possible to define this in a separate file. Yes, yeah, that's the issue though, is I don't want to use npm at all. Like I don't have any node modules. I literally just have this, and then I have ESLint installed globally. I think you're right though, but yeah, and thank you, Fatsy. We figured that out. So we want it that way, and then we don't have to reference the global variable. Okay, so for now, this will just be like a div that gets repeated over. NG4, ooh, flashbacks. NG4. For movie in movies, and then movie.name. And then in here we can have Fight Club. NG repeat. Okay. I've got view on the brain. NG repeat. Movie in movies. Oh, we don't have template literals. Yeah, template strings don't exist, so we're gonna have to do this just to see it working, we're gonna do this, put it all on one line, but then it is possible to define this in a separate HTML file, so that way I don't have to do this. What's up, Bogdanovich? Welcome in. Okay, so yeah, we've got Office Space, Fight Club, and Star Wars. A New Hope. Okay. We've got the controller, and then I guess that's the other interesting thing is like you can use $scope, but if you'd use this, then it technically puts it on scope. So this .movies is a thing. So we have a module. They didn't show us how to add it to the page. Oh, they did. Yeah, so basically, because I have this thing called movie list, if I want to reference it on the page, it's now just a custom component. So if I do movie-list, Angular is going to see that, and then, so I registered the module, I registered the component, Angular will see, oh, you want movie list? So it's going to instantiate the component with this template, and then iterate over the movies. So just like that, it's broken. I need to... I wish there were better docs. Is it? Is it ng repeat? ng4? Do they not have just like API docs? Filtering repeaters? Rendering, I guess. Is it ng4? Somebody told me it was ng repeat. It is ng repeat. Oh, you have to use $control. Okay, so that's like a magic variable that references the controller, and then we put movies on the controller. Let's see. Okay. We'll get there. Let's see. So they've got... Oh, and then ng app, I need to specify the app. It's still broken. It's still broken. But look at this. So right now I just said ng app. I need to specify, hey, this is the movies app. So I guess you're kind of seeing two ways of doing it. Like I could have done it completely globally, but the fact that they gave us this module thing allowed us to kind of like keep our code somewhat organized, but I do believe I need to do this. All right, this is gonna work. Yes, look at this. We've got stuff on the page. Stuff on the page is working. So yeah, so this basically is a nice little component, and you can have multiple of these components, right? So just like today, you have like a React component. If I throw a bunch of movie lists, boom, we get a bunch of movie lists, and the app is born. Awesome. What I want to do now is I want to figure out how do I get this template into a separate file. I think it was template URL. Like movies list.html, or movie list. Let's see if this is going to work. And then also we're going to rename this to be movie list component. And then we'll have movie list.html. We're going to move this in here, and ng include. What does that do? Why is this complaining? Unexpected token. Why is ESLint looking at my HTML file? I need to fix that. But this is nice because now I should be able to write actual HTML in here and get syntax highlighting and everything else, but Angular is going to be smart enough to bring this in. But I did rename the file to movie list. I'll do this, movielist.component. Actually, let's put it in a folder. Put in a folder called movie list. And then inside of there, we can have the template and the component. Yeah, so just like this. So folder movies, component movie list with component and template. And so now this can just reference template. And then over here, this will be movies, movie list slash component.js. All right, does it still work? It's broken. Template not found. Oh, I need to give it a full path to the URL. So this is going to be movie list slash movies slash movie list slash template, lowercase m movies. Small kids get that. I'm pretty sure I used to do this in my Angular apps. I can't remember though. Can't remember like what I, because yeah, I think you're gonna end up with a bunch of files that are all named the same thing. Oh, you're right. It is app. Whew. You're in it, Zyrus. You get it. So yeah, app, movies, movie list, template. There we go. All right, we're back. Awesome. So we've got a component. It's got data. Sweet. I'm happy with this. What else are we gonna need to do? We'll probably like define a service or something like that. Let's actually do that. Let's get a service working because that's gonna be the thing that manages all of the movies. Template, so you have to think about it. All of the code is being loaded from the root. This does not know what directory it's in. So even if you just did /, it's always going to be referenced from the root. So this would break it. Yeah. So because basically it's like these files are not context aware. Oh yeah, a router. Let's set up a router. You're totally right. Let's set up routing. Okay. We can add Angular router, which is from the core library, but it's here. So Angular route.min.js. So we add the code for this, and now we have a router. Cool. And now what? ng view. So this is like where our routes will exist. Yeah, so our whole app is going to live right there on that div now. And then we need to this is another thing. This is how we added dependencies in Angular. So even though I've linked the Angular router right here, what I actually also need to do is I need to do that because now my app has access to the ng route module. Great. And then I need to configure the routes here. So yeah, it's all coming back. So now I can say when we're on the home page, we should load the movie list. Otherwise, we go to not found, and then when the URL is not found, we just throw an H1 in there that says not found. Cool. And then just as an example, /banana is gonna have a banana. Right, now let's see what happens. Nice, okay, so, well, maybe not nice, but now, yeah, so now the app goes to the root by default, and you'll see, so this was before the history API, potentially. I mean, you could have used this eventually when we had the history API, so you can see everything is after the hash, because that's all client-side routing. But if I go to banana, we see banana. If I go to something that's not found, we see not found. So that's awesome. That's great. We have routing now. Shebang. We've got routing. Is there anything else I need to know about routing? Oh, we do get access to route params. We'll have to look at that later. Cool. Templating links and images. It's all loaded at once, yeah. And so this is going to get into like why things like a bundler exist. But yeah, if you look at the homepage load, it has to load everything, right? It loads the dependencies, it loads that one component, it loads the template. Yeah, it loads everything. Yeah. Do I say route or root? Mostly, I usually say route. I think I'll say root if I'm, I don't know, if I'm feeling different. Yeah, template URL. Cool. They got filters. We can handle events. Let's define a service, because the service is what's going to call our API. Yeah. Yeah, and what's up, Loco? Glad to see you. The alternative is modern dev, and I will say if you're interested, like basically I need to write it the old way so I can talk about the new way. But if you're interested in this kind of thing, definitely check out my course I'm going to be teaching next week, because day 1 is Intro to Modern Web Development. And basically, I'm going to take this code base and compare it to like a more modern way of doing things, and like why this works. This will work, but there are certain reasons why we'd want to do something else. Listed in a bold new, yeah. But here's the other thing is I'm also, it's like, it's kind of refreshing, right? Like we just add some script tags, we have some files. Like the developer experience isn't as great, obviously, because like these files are like not context aware. But yeah, I'm teaching React with TypeScript. I wouldn't really even call it a stack, but these are building blocks in your stack. You need these before you can start to adopt really anything else in your stack on the front end, anyways. Okay, what do we do now? We make a service. I remember there are multiple ways to do a service. You have a factory. You also have, oh no, wait. There's like a service. Services and factories, aren't those things? Are different things? But this is using ng resource. I don't think I want to use ng resource. So you should learn, and so actually, yeah, if you look at my React root site, I actually have some prerequisites for you. So I believe before you jump into React and TypeScript, you should know all of these things. So this is not complete beginner. This is things you need to know first. And yeah, like Oscar is mentioning, you have to know the basics of JavaScript first, really, before you can dive into React. And you also have to know the basics of did I say TypeScript? JavaScript. You have to know the basics of JavaScript before you can really even dive into TypeScript. Like, you don't necessarily have to, but you're going to be fighting a very hard uphill battle, because you're going to run into problems, and you're not going to know, is this a React problem? Is this a TypeScript problem? Is this a JavaScript problem? So it's good to know the different things. So that way, when you're debugging and working through all this stuff, you have a good idea of what's what. Yeah. No, we're going to talk about NPM and Node on day 1, so you don't need to know about that. I would say if you can program in Java, programming in JavaScript, JavaScript is a programming language, so all of the stuff you know about programming will transfer over to JavaScript. But it's different because it's running in a different place. Like JavaScript typically is running inside of a web browser. Yeah. Let me do this. Cool. All right. Yeah, I wanted to find a service. Does anybody have a better AngularJS tutorial? Like, I don't even want a tutorial. I just want API docs. I want to see, like, how do I define a service? Because this is really cumbersome to dig through. REST and custom services? Directory and file organization? Thank you. Where did you find that? I couldn't find a link to the API anywhere. Was it on the homepage? Yeah, I appreciate that. Is it this? Oh, okay. It's this button. It's this button. API reference. That's what I want. Great. Pure memory. You typed the URL out from memory. That's fascinating. All right. Yeah. So you can have a provider, a service, and like a factory. Let's see. So yeah, we're gonna do $HTTP, but this is basically what we want to do. We want in movies a new file called movies service.js. And so this will define a service that we can use in the various components, and it's going to expose various methods. So like get all movies, get one movie, that kind of thing. And it also will be a place where all of that data could potentially be cached. But any component that needs that data is going to talk to this service. So let's just try. Let's just try to do service. We'll call it the movies service. And then I think we can give it a function. And then we just put stuff on this dot. Like we have a function called get all. And then now instead of, do I need a factory? I'll figure it out. I just want to write the code out and then I'll fix it by looking in the docs. But basically now, instead of defining this data directly in the component, we'll define it in the service, and then the component will get the data from the service. So for now, this will just return this. And then the movie service, I think it like returns an object that has the functions on it like this. And then over here, we have dependency injection. So here we say we want access to the movie service. And then this is like movie service.getAll. Did I do it right? It's broken. Oh, I didn't add the script. So I defined the service over here, but I did not include it. So we need to include the service. Yeah, so it was doing dependency injection even back then. Yes, it was. But the reason, like these days, people are like, why would you even want to use dependency injection? It's like it makes the code base harder to navigate. But like if you think about it, like we didn't have a way of doing modules. We didn't have an easy way of separating code on the front end. So Angular giving us dependency injection made it real nice. There's no way. I just did it all from memory. I got it right. So movies service returns the functions that you want to get access to, and then in the component, you get injected that service that you can use it. Okay, I did it right, but there's probably a different way of doing this. Let's see. What's up, Ambitions? Welcome in. Okay, API docs I guess are nice, but I guess I also want examples of just like a service. So here they created a factory. Would it make sense to write the function in the return object itself? You could, yeah. At this point, it's really up to how do you want to write the code, but yeah, so we declared the service. I'm just trying to think, is there a different way that I should do this? Like, I think if I do factory, then I can just return an object that has properties on it or something like that. It's factory versus service versus provider. All right, we got a factory, returns an object. We got a service that gets, oh no, we got a service that gets access to, no, that just, oh, I see. So I'm kind of like, I'm like using the factory pattern. Actually, I could just do this dot get all equals get all. This should work the same way because like it returns an instance of the service. Yeah, this works the same way. But instead of returning an object, you just put it on this. Yeah, and then I don't want a provider. Yeah. But which one do I want? I guess it doesn't really matter. I think at this point it's working, so we should be good. All right, let's get some actual movies. So the homepage needs to get popular movies. We could look at their API docs for the MovieDB, but I'm also tempted to just watch the network traffic. I guess you can't watch the network traffic on like this one because it's using server-side rendering. Okay, we need to go to the API docs then. Cool. developers.themoviedb.org. We need to movies and get popular. Easy. Cool. So we need to make an API request to /movie/popular. Yeah, exclamation mark today will also let you know. Oh, actually, no, I didn't update the today command. Okay, my fault. My fault. Let me update the today command. It's the one thing I didn't do. That's okay. How are you all doing? Are you having a good time? It's a trip down memory lane. Yeah, it is very subjective. Like, how old are we talking? Honestly, people built apps this way even like 6-7 years away. Honestly, people are still building apps this way today. It's just if you decide to make a new app, you're probably not going to reach for Angular these days. Okay. I always why is it so hard to find the root of the API? I didn't get a new mic recently, but a few months ago, I changed settings, add noise canceling, added some EQ. I want to call this, what's the base of the API? And don't just tell me in chat, link me to where you found it, because the introduction of this API. Oh, you know what? I guess it's actually in settings. If I took when I go grab my API key. Let me do that really quick. I mean, technically, you're going to be able to see my API key because this is all front end, but I mean, it is a random guess. I just want to see it in the documentation. But yeah. Yeah, just keep watching ModGuo. And if you don't have the patience to keep watching to see what I'm working on, then you don't have to watch. That's all. Oh yeah, it is api.themoviedb.org. That's it. Now, I think I'm gonna do my best to hide my API key, but let it be known this is all front end code. This is all front end code. So when I deploy this, you're gonna be able to see my API key. It's possible I might not deploy it today and then just create like a little proxied function that hides my API key, but yeah, it's fine. So here's what I'm gonna do. In this folder, I'm gonna create a file called config.js, and I'm just gonna declare a global variable called config that has API key in it. Like that. Now, this is not hiding the API key. And I'll go in and add it right here. So app/config.js, is that where I put it? Yeah. So now that's going to load that config variable, but then I can get access to it in other files. Does Angular have a way of like adding settings and stuff like that? Maybe it does. This is fine. This is all I'm going to do. Because now in the movies service, I want to make an API request. So I'm going to pull in $HTTP. This is provided by Angular. I don't think I have to add another dependency for this. I might. But I basically just say, I want $HTTP, and now I can make HTTP requests. So we'll write a function called getPopularMovies. And instead of just returning an object, we will return $HTTP.get and then pass in our URL. So let me put that in. Yeah, I think like some people that have been here since the beginning, they kind of know what's going on. Because I've been live for about an hour now. Otherwise, people are just just hanging out. Every now and then they'll catch a glimpse of what I'm doing. What am I doing? Oh yeah, I wanted to do this really quick. Give me a second. Cool. All right. All I've done is I've put my API key into that config file just so I don't show it on the screen. And then because I linked the config script right here, I should be able to access it inside the service. So this getPopularMovies function is going to call the MovieDB API and then append my API key on the end there. So I can access config because I brought it in before. But I need to change the URL. I want to get popular movies here. So movie/popular. That's just going to be this. And then we should get like the result, I think. We can't use arrow functions. But I do want to log that result. No arrow functions, gotta be this. All right, let's see what happens. Get all isn't a function because my component is trying to call get all. We need to call get popular movies. Cool. So we get back an object. It has a data property with a page and then results. Cool. So in this case, we actually just want to return result.results to get the array of data. I'm going to keep logging it so we can look at the properties. And then, result.data.results. And because we're only using ES5, so we don't get template literals, we don't get arrow functions, we don't get imports and exports, we don't get all the modern features. We're just limiting ourselves to the old stuff. All right, results. Each movie has a title. So now we want to reference original title instead. So over here, in our template, instead of saying movie.name, we can say movie.originalTitle. And I thought it was going to work. Results dot. Do I not just want title? What's the difference between original title and title? Okay, so the component is firing off the API request. Oh, you know what it is? This returns a promise. How do I handle that? Do I have to .then it over here? Maybe I do, because I can't await it. So I think I need to say get popular movies, and then this is going to give us back the movies. And we can say this.movies equals movies. And we can default this.movies to be an empty array. Yeah. All right. It gets the movies. We try to repeat over them. And we're trying to specify the title. Why am I not seeing anything? Here's a movie list. ng repeat over movies. Oh, original is the language of the movie. That makes sense. Oh. Wait. Okay, here's the other thing. This is why arrow functions are really convenient. This dot. So the old way is to say self equals this or that equals this. And then here I want to say self.movies equals movies. Yes. All right. And this, my friends, is a really good example of why arrow functions are great. Because if I were to use an arrow function, then the this inside the arrow function is the same as the this outside the arrow function. But without arrow functions, every function gets its own this. So if I want to reference the this that's on the outside, I need to store it so that I can use it later. We've done it. We've got all the movies. Okay, let's create a little movie component that shows the cover image, the title, and then the rating. So for that, actually, I think I'll pause here because if people have questions or people want like what are you doing? I'm happy to give a review of that. But yeah, any thoughts, comments, questions on what we've done so far? Yeah, lexical scope. That's how we refer to it here. Lexical scope would include the scope of the thing around it. Why are we not using Notepad++? I considered it. I was like, should I like download like WebStorm or like Visual Studio proper or something like that? But I don't know. Okay, but yeah, 30-second review of what we've done. we have an HTML file. It references our app called Movies app. We bring in the Angular library. We bring in Bootstrap. We bring in Angular route library. We have our config. We have our main entry point, which defines our Angular app. So we define an app called Movies app. We declare a dependency on ng-route, which gives us routing. We then declare all of our routes. Right now we have our homepage, which just loads the movie list. And then we have a banana route to demonstrate that routing works. And then we have a not found route. So that's how we set up our routes. And then the homepage loads the movie list. And if we look at the movie list, it is a component that defines its template in the same folder. And then it has a controller which can do the hard work of calling APIs and stuff like that. So this right here is bringing in movies service. So this is another thing that AngularJS gave you was dependency injection. Like our API code is all going in this file. And we're going to add other functions in here like get movie by ID, get movies on Netflix, or we're going to come up with other functions. But this service is the one that makes the API requests. Angular also gives us $HTTP, which is, I think is similar to jQuery Ajax, but it's basically like promise-based, and we can make API requests with it. Cool. And then the template, super simple. We just say for every movie in that array of movies, show the title, and that's it. That's it. Yeah, and we actually we don't have to use JSON padding because the API supports cores. The themoviedb API supports cores. All right, that's where we're at so far. What we want to do now is instead of just showing the titles of the movies, we want to show them in cards. So we want to show these. Let's do it. So I'm going to create another component called movie. And then this gets a component.js file. I'm going to copy this. And this is literally just going to be called movie. And then it's going to reference a template that is that. And then it's going to have a controller called movie controller. Is that how you spell movie? It is. It looks weird after you look at it for a while. For now, I don't know what this thing is going to have. I think, honestly, it's going to need some props. We're going to need a way to pass a movie into this so that it can render it out. But we'll figure that out in a second. For now, let's just have a template in here. And we will have like an H3 that just says, this is a movie, like that. We need to add this script to our index.html. So just like we pull in the movie list component, we also need to bring in the movie component. And then now in our movie list template, instead of showing the title here, we want to just show a movie. And then we'll figure out how do we pass data into that. Did this work? Yeah. So this is a movie. So now we need to tell that component about this data. I don't remember how to do that. Let's look at the docs. Oh, I'm just not using Copilot for this because the code is so old, and I didn't give up on it. I'm going to be using Copilot in all the other stuff that I build. I will say it's typically in the apps that you build with Angular, you actually want to have a prefix on your components. As you can see, this still works, but you typically want to call it like app movie because you don't want it to be a single word and you don't want it to interfere with like built-in things. Let's actually rename it. Let's rename it app movie. Just because a single name component doesn't seem good. Okay. Were they even called props? AngularJS 1.8 props. Ooh, maybe dev docs will be better. Data binding? Attributes? components. I think it is bindings. I think I want to look in here for bindings. It's like a different kind of binding. I want to pass a prop to the component, and I don't know how. It's like I thought it was like this. Okay, here we go. We define the bindings on the component. Show me an example, because this seems weird. So component, template, config. So component, and then you pass in bindings. Okay. So we got the template URL, the controller, and then bindings is here. I'll say that we have a movie that we want to pass in. And then I need to figure out how to tell it what kind of binding it is. But this is like defining a prop called movie. And then what do the different symbols mean? This denotes one-way bindings. The difference to equal is that the bound properties in the component are not watched. That's probably what we want. We actually just want this because this component doesn't let people modify the movie, right? Like we pass the movie data down to it and it literally just shows the poster, the title, the rating. This component isn't like editing anything. So there's no reason to make it so that it's watching for changes on that data, or so that changes inside the component get reflected above it, right? Right? Yeah, which means if you assign a new property to in the component scope, so like inside the component, if we modify that, like the movie title, the parent does not get alerted of that. But that's okay because we're not going to be doing any editing. Seems fine. All right, so now that we've done this, inside of here, I mean, actually, we don't even have to reference it because now it should, I think it should just exist on the controller. Is it just this dot? Or if you like this dot bindings. Yeah, I think it's just this dot user. Okay, so in the template, now we can say right here, we say, hey, controller, there should be a movie property or object and reference its title. We broke it. we broke it. Its title is the right property, right? Yeah. I think. Oh, you're right. We didn't pass it. Good call. Yeah, so we're not passing anything down. So on the movie list, we need to literally pass the movie. So I need to say movie equals movie, like that. Nice. It's happening. It's happening. Okay, so the list references the movie component. We pass the movie down to the movie template, and then we show the title right there. Okay, so now we can get a little bit fancier and start to show like a little card here. So let's look at how they styled it. So the poster image comes first. We need to go back to the docs and figure out how to do images, because I do believe like we get back a relative poster URL. Yeah, so we see a backdrop and then poster path. There's a URL we append this path to. Images. This. Yeah, like that. So right here, we'll have an image. And then the source is going to be this with the poster on it. I don't know the right syntax for this. This might be it. So poster path. Did I get that right? Movie.poster path. Let's see. Oh, it just works. So this is weird syntax though, because like if you're in Vue, you know that if you see like a vbind or a colon, then you know that like there's going to be a an expression inside of there, but otherwise it's just a string. But this literally lets us put handlebars inside of the attribute there. Um, so that's awesome. Now let's make it a card. We are using Bootstrap, so I think we'll just use whatever built-in card that they have. I guess they called it panels. This is Bootstrap 3. Why don't we use ng source? Oh, you know what? It's coming back to me. Isn't it something that, like, if we use ng, like, for whatever, if the page were to load without it, then it would be like broken. But if you use ng source, it knows that it needs to wait to be resolved. Something like that. Cool. Noob just learning. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I used it a long time ago. I basically forgot everything about it. It's pretty crazy. Like, I had an entire career around AngularJS, and I don't know how to use it anymore. Like 6-7 years later. Yeah. So this I think that, yeah, that's my understanding as well. Wait for Angular to replace this before you try to load the URL. Which doesn't matter as much here because that isn't even going to exist until there are actually movies on the page. Okay. Well, we let's style it up. This is a panel, and it's funny to me because I think this is before we called them cards. Like in Bootstrap 4, I think that we started calling them cards, but in this case, it's just a panel. And then the panel body has that. I guess we can just use a paragraph tag. And I'm pretty sure that Bootstrap has like text utilities, Bootstrap 3. Like it has a way of centering text and stuff built in. Also, maybe we do want like an H3. Responsive utilities? Helper classes. Here we go. Yeah, it's in here. It should be anyways. I think I want text center. I just want to find it in the docs. Yeah, okay, so center align text. Great. So this was Tailwind before Tailwind, sort of. I mean, there's a bunch of other built-in stuff too. And then I think they actually have a response. Yeah, they have a responsive image class built in. Image responsive. I think that's going to make it 100% width. Or not. Max width 100%. Height auto. Display block. This should be fine. Let's put the whole thing in a grid. So div class row on the parent in the movie list. So the movie list has all the movies. We'll give this a class of row. And then each movie is going to take up, we can do responsive classes. So take up one column on a small device. What do we have? So we have extra small, small, medium, and large. So on the movie template, we'll make it take up one column on extra small devices, 2 columns on small devices, 3 columns on medium devices, and 4 columns on large devices. XS, SM, MD, LG. Let's look at what's getting rendered here. Oh, it's rendering a row for each one. Never mind. We did not want that. What we want is we want to put these we'll put these on the movie list, because the movie list, each one of these takes up a specific column, and then it'll have a parent row that it puts them in. Nice. And yeah, am I doing it wrong? I think Oh, it needs to be like yeah, it's beautiful. It needs to be like divisible by 4 or something like that. Column wrapping, that's what we want. If more than 12 columns are placed in a single row, each group of extra columns will wrap onto a new line. That's what we want. It's possible. Yeah, so I did this wrong. So on a small device, take up 12 columns. On extra small, on a small device, take up 6 columns. Take up 4 columns. Take up 3 columns. This is what I want. Maybe. Yeah, something like that. We'll get there. It's happening. It's happening. I need to work on the styles, but it's happening. Yeah, because that's like 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns, 4 columns. Because 3 times 4 is 12. Now I want clearfix. I don't think I've ever used that. Wait, did I just full screen that? Did I put the clearfix on the element itself? Or I need a little div right here with clearfix. No, I mean, I think I need these to be 100% height of the container. And then I think that would fix it as well, because these are taking up a certain amount of columns. And then each movie, I think if it takes up 100% height, it'll take up the height of the parent. Let's see if there's 100% height helper built in. Yeah, what's up, Metatron? Welcome in. And if it doesn't, we're gonna just add some CSS. Height. I don't know if there's anything built in the old Bootstrap for height. Let's just try an inline style really quick, and if this fixes it, we'll pull it out into some CSS. So if I say height 100%, take up the height of your parent, that also doesn't fix it. Also, we need to like reset the styles of the page if they're not yet. Why is there a little bit of scroll? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, same thing, Limos. I mean, not even Tailwind, because I was using like CSS and like in JS and stuff. I forgot all the old Bootstrap stuff. Yeah, if we decrease the text size, it's going to lower it down. Well, basically what I want is I want this one to be the same height as anyone else in that row. I think, yeah, for 2, it seems to, no, yeah, because then it like breaks here. I remember having to, fix this with Bootstrap back in the day, but I forget how I did it. Do we have to give these a size? You know what? We don't even have to use the Bootstrap grid. I don't think I want to fight with this. I think I think I will just use CSS grid. Give what to the text? Set the yeah, but I don't. If I set the height, I don't know what the height should be because some titles might be really long. But okay, if we look in the docs, there is grid responsive resets. Okay. Here's the thing. But how many clear fixes do I need to display? Like the issue is the clear fix I need to insert into the ng repeat. Or I need to have separate ng repeats based on the number of columns that are currently being displayed. Like if did I not stretch? I'm trying to just fix this. I'm getting locked in. All right, I'm just not going to use Bootstrap. Or not going to use Bootstrap Grid. Is what we'll do. We will add some separate CSS. That's all I'm going to do. Appreciate that, Wild, and welcome in. Thank you for being here. Some global CSS. And then we define our, well, I guess I'll call it app grid so it doesn't interfere with the, well, I don't even know if they call theirs grid, but regardless, app grid. Display grid, grid, template, columns, repeat for one fraction. Yeah, sure, right? Beautiful. The CSS grid for the win. And then we can give it a gap. One rem. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Welcome in, Pablo. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm happy with this. And then we can add some responsive styles. So really, we should do style mobile first. So by default, there should be one column. And then I'm going to add another class, just full width. So full width, and then we'll also add a center container, which is just a grid. Place items center? Sure, why not? So now the movie, this image, I also want it to have full width. And I guess if I don't do full width, actually I could do this. I could give this a class of center container. Yeah, and then so that at least puts that there. That's great. Okay. How do media queries work? I think I need to turn off post CSS because I'm not getting any CSS autocomplete. For whatever reason, when I have post CSS enabled, it gets rid of all my CSS autocomplete. So if we say min width, we can use the same sizing from Bootstrap, like whatever they use on their grid. like this. So we'll match to 750, 970, and 1170. I need to look up media query syntax. The app media rule. Max width : 750 pixels. So devices up to, or no, min width. So if you're a minimum of 750 pixels wide, then you're going to be 2 columns. And if you're a minimum of 970, then you're going to be 3 columns. And if you're a minimum of 1170, you get 4 columns. Done. Look at that. Wow. We could add more. Yeah. Maybe not, though. we probably need like one more breakpoint for like extra large devices. I could repeat, but I'm having a fun time putting all these for real. What should the width be here? Like 1280? No. 1300. Yeah. Even more. 1500. I need to stop. All right, we've got posters, titles. We also need the rating. So I want to create a rating component where I can pass the rating in and it shows a number of stars. Yeah. It would probably be better Amasil, but I don't even know what that code means. But so this is fine. This is fine. Because the styles aren't as important. We want the functionality. So now we're going to create a rating component. We're going to copy these two things so we have a place to auto fit. Oh, I see. So you're making the columns 300 pixels, and then it decides. Then I see, and then you don't have to use media queries. That's cool. I like that. But I'm not going to do it because I got it working. But I like that. Good to know. All right, we're going to call this app rating. It has a template. We're going to pass in the rating, and then we're going to figure out how to display it. The template, it's just going to be a div where we have a span where we repeat to the number of stars. I guess we're doing like half stars. We could round them. We're gonna round them. We're gonna make it super simple. So we'll do ng repeat. Yeah, the styles are not from from 2010, but the JavaScript is. Okay. ng repeat. Is there a way to repeat in a range? I'm not even gonna do it. I'm just gonna say rating in value in rating. This is all I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna handle it in JavaScript. So rating is gonna be an array of stars. So yeah, I'm gonna handle it in JavaScript. So now in the JavaScript, we'll say this dot rating is an array I guess we'll call this star rating. Let's do that. We'll call it star rating, so that way it doesn't interfere with rating, because rating is going to be the value that we pass down. So not const. We'll say also I want to see what is this rating value that we're getting back. Vote average. So it's out of 10. Vote average out of 10. We're going to round it. And then divide by 2. So divide by 2 and then round it. This will be math.round of this.rating divided by this. Yeah, okay. We'll use vote average in a second, but this.rating divided by 2. And then we need to go up to 5. So start at 0, no more than 5 stars. And if I is less than or equal to value, star rating dot push a star, like that. Otherwise, I have like a gray star. I guess we could use these. We could do like, do we have like an empty star? Because we could use the fields. Yeah, let's use these two. So, empty star, and then the filled in star. Cool. So now on the movie component, below the title, we will have an app rating component. And we pass the rating in as movie dot, I forget what it was, vote average. I'm missing some. Oh, I didn't bring the rating component into the app. So we need the rating component as well. Let's do some debugging. So in the rating component, actually it's in my template, isn't it? $control dot star rating. Well, dupes. So in the rating JavaScript, the component is app rating. Bringing this in, we have the rating prop. Do I need track by? Because they're duplicate values? Is that really a thing? This is like keys in React before they... Let's see. Tracking and duplicates. When a change happens, ng repeat then makes corresponding changes in the DOM. Yeah. I don't even have to use ng repeat. I just have to let's do this. Okay. My long stream title broke the Twitch layout. I haven't seen, but welcome in, Stony. Glad to see you. Speed run this with the view CDN. That would be fun. Okay. This dot star rating is getting set here. Because it's star rating. Yeah. We did it. Sort of. Maybe not. I need to log the value. Also, we can't really see that. Text large? No. Let's look at Bootstrap, see what helpers they have. Don't they have like a big text one? Hmm. I don't think they do. Does that exist? It does. Class H1. Okay, cool. But our logic here is wrong. Let's log this out. Nan. Because rating is undefined. So when we're passing it down here, controller.movie.voteAverage is undefined. Am I doing that right? Oh, do I? Oh, you're right. I need to put it in handlebars. Yeah, you're totally right. Or not. How do I? I don't think I do because if we look at the movie list, we pass down movie just like that. No curly braces. And then on the movie component, did I have an extra? No, it's not getting passed down. This is breaking it. I don't think it's NG rating. Let's render the movie. Nookie Poo, thank you for the prime. Why is this not showing? Well, everything else used $control. Like, and then the title used it as well. Like, I mean, let's just grab another property to show that this is I mean, actually, I should literally try putting the average on the page like this. Yeah, let me try this and then I'll show you all. Yeah, so look at that. So it has a value here, but I'm just having an issue passing it down. Okay, I called it rating. Let's double check on the rating component. The bindings I called rating. This dot rating is not defined. Maybe it's not directly on this. Hey, this dot rating has a value. um, um, so it's undefined inside the component. Okay, this has to be something to do with like how I'm doing the binding. Um, you know what if I do that? No, it's still undefined. Um, because look at how weird this is. So logging this dot rating is undefined. Um, and then if I open up this, rating has a value. So do I have to wait till the next tick? Like why is it not available when I'm accessing it? Um, so yeah, the movie equals movie was because that was the name of the let me show you. Yeah, so movie gets created inside of the repeat, which is why we pass it down directly. But on the movie component, um, movie is on the uh, it's on the controller directly. So if you look at the movie JavaScript, because we have this binding here, movie is directly accessible, which means in the template we do $control.movie. The fact that it renders out, but we can't access it, tells me there's something going on in Angular that I don't understand. Um, I mean, honestly, I think no worries. I think it's worth to debug this to like, um, it's worth it to talk through it. Yeah, so rating should be inside the component. Let's see. Yeah, that's what's weird. Okay. Maybe I need to access like a mounted lifecycle hook or something like that. I don't know why I would, but it kind of seems like that. Um, so let's do that. Because the value's there. It's just not there when the controller runs the first time. So our rating component, yeah, this isn't there. I think isn't there like, um, is it not apply? What is the isn't there like a next tick or something like that? Yeah. Um, I forgot what the docs were for bindings. Component did mount. Yeah, I don't think there's a lifecycle hook like mounted or created. Here, here's the thing. Check this out. If I just put this in a 0-second set timeout, I think it's gonna work. Yeah. See. um, I don't know why though. I mean, well, technically, I mean, my browser understands arrow functions, but um, wait, did I get rid of the controller.star rating? Oh, because I got rid of the rating value. Oh, I'm just making everything 5. I need to fix that. Hingy on init? Maybe. Why is it not rendering now? this this seems worse than it should. Yeah, so the second parameter is missing because it's a 0-second timeout, meaning like we're basically saying execute this function in the next I don't even know if I'm using the right words. In the next iteration of the loop, the digest loop, not the digest loop, the event loop, the JavaScript event loop. The next tick. Is that the way to say it? So yeah, I mean technically you can put 0 there, but that should be fine. Oh, I have to put this in a variable again. You're right. Oh, oof. Because I converted it. So the first time I did an arrow function, but then I was like, oh, we're gonna do it. Digest loop is specifically is an Angular thing, and then this also needs to be self. All right, cool. And then we actually have to apply the scope here. I don't know why. This isn't even asynchronous. Yeah. 5 stars for Avatar. This seems really weird. I don't know if I care to figure out why I need to do this. I mean, honestly, I don't really even have to, if I'm doing this apply thing, I don't even have to put it inside of a set timeout, because this is how you tell AngularJS, hey, there are changes to the scope that you can apply now. This should work as well. It doesn't. I guess it doesn't because you can't apply when a controller is being init. Oh well. Should work. I don't know. Put this in the center. And then in the movie component, template, movie, we'll get rid of that. All right, it's happening. It's happening, everybody. We got ourselves a little component with the things. I don't like the way this looks though. ng after view init, is that what it is? I probably did ambitions. I'm moving fast. So var self equals this, self.rating. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean I removed the timeout. I need the timeout because you can't call apply at the top level of a controller, apparently. Okay. What now? What do we do now? Also, this rating seems to be wrong. It's giving Avatar 5 stars. Oh, you're right. Okay, so if I use $timeout, then I don't have to do apply. Or not. $timeout is not defined. Do I need to inject it? Nice. Nice. Yeah, so $timeout is a nice little helper where you don't have to apply the scope yourself. Cool. Still, this should not be the case. Like the prop should be available. Okay, I want to do a quick little search to see AngularJS bindings not available on mount. Why are my component bindings undefined? I'm looking for the on init hook. I see. You actually have to do that. Ah. Okay. Well, injector on a init is not a thing. Is it scope dot on a init? It's just this dot. This dot on a init is not a function. These are also more higher level docs. This is what I was looking for. Cool. Controller. This dot on init. Do I need a separate plugin for this? Well, I still have to use this because I'm passing a function to on init. Oh, apparently the this inside of on init is the right binding. It doesn't take a function. You're right. You just assign it. You just literally assign it. Okay. This dot on init is not a function because you define it. You do this. And Hukakuda, welcome in. Thank you for the raid. We are in Angular land writing some really old code. That's it. Okay, we figured it out. The rules of Angular are that you cannot access bindings at the top level of the controller. You can only be guaranteed that the bindings exist after the component has been initialized. And so we define on init, and now we can access the bindings inside of there. Okay, I'm glad we figured that out. But yeah, welcome in, Raiders. Glad to see you. What were you working on? Huika Kuda? I don't know how to speak that language. I'm sorry. But thank you for the raid. Thank you for bringing all your friends over. We are attempting to recreate this with some older stuff. So with some stuff that's like at least 6 or 7 years old, just to show how it used to be done. There's a micro break every 10 minutes. Cool. I guess we could add some nice little hover effects too. Can't I use the ternary operator? Where? What do you mean? Well, let's add a hover effect. I'm gonna add a class called movie, and when you hover over that movie, we're gonna scale it up, or transform, scale 1.5. Creating a chat browser window that combines chat messages from YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. Nice. Yeah, this is a custom chat window thing that I created. I was thinking about integrating Discord messages into it pretty soon. But yeah. Where I select to fill the starter or not. Yeah. Any place you use an if statement, you can use a ternary. Absolutely. I'm not going to rewrite it though. But yes, you could put a ternary inside the push. Okay, we got our movie class, and then now on the movie template, I'm gonna add the movie class, and then we should be able to, yeah, like that. That's too big though. We'll do like 1.2, and we'll make it more subtle. 1.2, and then the movie will have a transition duration of half a second. Even that's big. Am I at 100% zoom right now? Oh, yeah. Ternaries have been in JavaScript for a long time. Yeah. 1.1. Cool. We can also give this cursor pointer. Um, all right. I think our rating logic is off. Because maybe I want math.floor instead of math.round. Because 7.7 divided by 2 would be 3 point something. 3.8. Maybe I want math.floor. Yeah, because then that gets 4 instead of 10. Should we just do 10 stars? What if we did 10 stars and we still do the round, but we don't divide by 2? I guess it's harder to look at is the thing. And then 7.7 rounds up to 8. That actually doesn't seem right. No. Yeah, well, it rounds up to 7.7. They rounded it up to 9? That's way too many stars. Yeah, it is way too many stars. All right, it honestly it doesn't have to be perfect. It just seems like this isn't yeah, let's put the number in front of it. We can say that is out of 10. We'll put it on the next line. We'll also decrease the size. It's amazing. Well, here's the thing. if we put it out of 10 but we only show 5 stars, is that weird? Not enough stars. I guess we could divide it by 2 and say it's out of 5. But then it's going to give us some potentially longer numbers. Well, we tried it with 10 stars. It was too many stars. Show it out of 5. I think I'll just show it. It's fine. It's fine. It actually does not matter that much. I think we're good. All right. So we need to add pagination or infinite scroll. Because right now this is just page 1. I need to be able to honestly. Let's how would we do infinite scroll without like intersection observer? I guess we could. This is using the themoviedb API. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you could probably just pull you have an element down here, and every second or so, it's checking to see is it in the viewport, is it in the viewport, is it in the viewport, and then when it is, fire off an event. In contrast to the mutation observer API, which I guess you could do, yeah, on scroll. I like that better. Let's actually implement that. Let's write a infinite scroll component. We're just gonna create a folder called components, and then we'll copy this. Basically, this component is going to keep track of, are we at the bottom of the page? And when we are, it's going to fire off an event so that way we can do something accordingly. All right, here we go. App components template. I don't think we'll have any bindings. We'll create some sort of event bus. We'll figure that out later. But here we have the infinite scroll controller. Did I rename the rating? And actually, I need to rename this to infinite scroll. No. This one. So components infinite scroll. Did I rename its controller? I didn't. It actually didn't care, but I'm going to make sure that I rename this. Mouse move and scroll events are taxing? Ashley B, thank you for the prime. I don't think we care about that. I think that's fine. So like we kind of want to get a reference to the element itself to see is the element is visible like within the viewport. But we yeah, no worries, Stone. I think it's fine though. So I mean, I think I kind of want to add an event listener to the entire document. Like, yeah, when we scroll. And then we'll just say scrolling. Look at the thing. Okay, so we haven't added it yet. Let's add the infinite scroll component to the HTML. Cool. So it got added. And then on the movie list component, we want to put infinite scroll below the list of all the movies that got rendered, I think. And maybe this will have a parent like number of pages, and then for every page we have the movies on that page. I kind of think that's what we're gonna need. But for now, we'll throw that infinite scroll component right there. And this complains. Oh, I can't find the template. Yeah, well, is that true? Component / infinite scroll template. Is that right? App components infinite scroll / template .html. Okay, so the component mounted, and then you can see that this is firing whenever we're scrolling. Yeah. Can we get an invisible element that sits at the bottom of the page and fires a function when the mouse enters or where mouse events introduced later? That's what we're trying to do now. That's what this little component is going to be. So it's basically sitting at the bottom of that repeated list, and then when we reach it, I need to fire something off. So now what I want to do is inside of here, I want to know is this element in the viewport? And for that, I think I'm gonna somehow need to get a reference to the element itself. Like, is it this? Components. $ document? Maybe I want that. Do I need to inject it? Let's see. Not define. Inject it. I'm just gonna use the regular document. It's fine. AngularJS access element DOM reference. I don't know. How can I access DOM elements in Angular? That is not AngularJS. That's not AngularJS either. This dot element ref, is this AngularJS? Yeah, those are Angular 2. Directives have $ element. Is it this dot $ element, maybe? Undefined. Not defined. Ooh. Okay. Yes, this is it. This is it. You can inject it. Yeah, it's here. It's here. Use scope for everything. Yeah, so I think you can use this dot instead of scope. I mean, wherever I actually am using this dot. I guess I don't have one of those components open, but yeah, you can choose one of two. Like if you, I guess it's nice if you inject $ scope, then you don't have to use say like self equals this everywhere. You can just do $ scope. But we have the element JavaScript. Detect if element is visible. Visible. Element dot offset parent property will return whenever it or any of its parents is hidden via the display style property. I don't want that. Element dot offset width, offset height. Element dot offset width plus offset height. Wait, what? I think we want something like this though. Like determine the current offset and like what this current scroll is. Let's see. Does this work? So mounted scroll. Element.getClientRex is not a function. That makes sense. It's like getClientRectangle. Or getBoundingClientRectangle. GetClientBoundingRectangle. GetBoundingClientRect is not a function. Get wrecked. I think there's something I'm missing. Let's look at $element. Element at 0. This might be something we have to do with ng on init again, but let's see. No, it says it's visible. That's not good. Let's log all of this. What's up, Nishark? Welcome in. Width. Height. Wait. The offset height is 48. I did not see the Twitter logo, no. Did they change it? Element.offset height. What is this? It's Doge? They changed did they really change their logo to Doge? Why? Okay, offset height returns the height of an element, including... No, I don't want that. I don't want the height of the element. I want... Where is the element on the page? So... Yeah, I want the top. I really just need to compare the rectangle's top to the current scroll position. So... Is the top changing as I scroll? Let's actually just log dot top. Oh. Is X useful? Is Y useful? So if I guess I could see that happening. Yeah, so they changed their logo to Doge and then everyone starts buying Doge. Okay. So, if Y is less than or equal to the height, window dot inner height less than or equal. Visible. And then for now, the template of infinite scroll is just going to say like loading. Loading. Oh, oh, that's why. I was like, why is that all that stuff there? Loading, dot, dot, dot. All right, moment of truth. Almost. Visible. Nice. That's exciting. I think why doesn't it say loading? There we go. Visible. And then, but where's the loading? It's down there. I guess I didn't save or refresh. But let's also do some other logging just to double check this is what we want. Not visible. All right. It's not visible. It's not visible. It's visible. It's not visible. It's not visible. It's visible. This is fascinating. So I would say if you're watching me right now and you have no idea what I'm doing, don't do this because there is a thing called the mutation observer. Or is it mutation observer? Is this what I want? Not mutation observer. There's a way to detect. I think maybe it is a mutation observer. You can detect when it comes into view. Intersection observer. This. So this is a more efficient way of figuring out when your element comes into view. Yeah. Oh, well, we're going to just fire it off once. Yeah, basically, yeah, we have more work to do, but it's working, at least for what I want to do. Great. So now at this point, we can fire off some event that says, hey, you should probably request the next page of stuff if you haven't yet, and if you're not already requesting it, because we made it to the bottom of the page. So, to do event bus ? Like, I need to fire off an event where somewhere else can be listening for that event. But I need to take a quick break, and when I come back, I'll implement this and I'll like talk through everything. But yeah, that's the plan. Oh, I mean, I could put something on like root scope. Yeah. Element has an on function, so let's do that then. So if we inject document and we say document on, I think the main reason we would want to do that is like if we are document on is not a function. Is it? Is that? Document is not defined. There's no example. I'm gonna have to stick with that for now anyways. Okay, but yeah, I'm gonna take a quick break, but when I come back, we're gonna implement this. So this is gonna fire off an event, and then like our service could be listening for that event, and like this. So our service will be listening, and then it will potentially get the next page of results. And maybe even not even that, like this also could take in the like the page number, and then we should use that page number in the request. But yeah, when I come back, I'll be take a quick break, like 5 minutes, and then we'll write some more code. I'll be back soon. Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome back. Now, we want to, first of all, let's get this updated so that we're passing the page into the Get Movies. Yeah, so the way this works is the top level component, the movie list, whenever it's mounted, makes a request. So I want to, when the component is mounted, I want to pass in 1 because we're going to get page 1 of the movies. And we're also going to like restructure this. So we potentially want something like pages. And pages is going to be an array of arrays. Like this. So we get back page 1, we push it into pages, and then now in the movie list template, for each page, and we kind of want this, and so this gets repeated for each page in control dot pages, and then for every movie in that page, we show it out, we display it out. And then now in the service, we get access to the page number, and we need to pass that in. So if we look at the API docs for movies, we look at movies, and then we look at get popular. This accepts a page integer. So we just tack that on here. So we can say, and page equals page. So that's going to get us page 1, page 2, etc., whatever we pass in. So our app should still work, but now we have room to go get more pages. So now when we get down to the bottom, we want to say get page 2 if we haven't already gotten page 2. So we could keep track of that, I guess, in the movie list. So in the movie list, JavaScript, we could have some sort of like internal state, like current page starts off as 1. And then when it's time to get the next page of movies, we increase that, and then we use that to fire it off. But now let's figure out how to hook up the infinite scroll component to our movie list, because when we get to the bottom of the page, this needs to tell the movie list, hey, we're at the bottom, get the next page of results if you're not already doing that. So the term that I know is like event bus. Does AngularJS have an event bus? ng event bus? Welcome in, Imagate. Glad to see you. How to listen for an event in a component. Global communication. There's emit and broadcast. Ooh. $sign emit? Rootscope.emit. It's kind of what I want. Typically, you don't want to mess with the root scope. But that's what we're going to do. So, root scope is like the root of most hard to work with AngularJS applications, because it's kind of like global, and you can access this from anywhere and like put anything you want on it. But if you start to put, the more stuff you start to put on root scope, the harder it gets to navigate your code base. But what I want to do right here is I want to say something like rootscope.emit infinite scroll. or something like end of page. We get to define the event name, and we're not even going to pass an argument in. We're just literally telling the we're literally emitting the event that we are at the end of the page. We potentially want to stop ourselves from firing this event over and over again. I think it's fine. We're going to handle it on the other side. So on the other side, we will listen for when this gets fired off. So we're going to do that inside of the movie list. And we'll say root scope on. So when we reach the end of the page, this function is going to run, and here is where I can fire this off and get the next page. We'll handle that in just a second. For now, let's just log end of page in movie list. Does it work? No, rootscope.on is not a function. Well, is it $on? I mean, I guess I was copying code from the one that's not the answer. I gotta close all this extra stuff, though. Get rid of that, and well, and that. All right, so now when we get to the bottom, great. Rootscope.emit is not a function. That makes sense because it needs to be $emit. So in our infinite scroll JavaScript, emit end of page. End of page in the movie list. And you see it keeps firing off. So we need some more stuff. But this is good. So basically, this component that's completely separate from everything else, you can see how we did in the HTML. So this component just sits right here. And whenever it becomes visible, it says, hey, I'm visible. And then I mean, I guess at the end of the day, like, honestly, we could have passed a function down. We didn't even have to do emit. Oh, no worries, Fallen Learns. I appreciate your input. No worries. Honestly, we could do something like this. On visible is honestly, I think I prefer this. So like you pass a function down, and then we can just call that function instead of using emit and stuff. So check it out. Now let's just see if this works. If this works, I prefer it. Over here, instead of doing root scope, we can specify bindings and say we are expecting to get an end of page binding. And then here we can just say self dot end of page, fire it off. Backseat programming is what I come here for, yeah. And then we grab the self like this. All right, did I do that binding right? We can look at movie. Yeah, the little left arrow. And then infinite scroll accepts, or something like on visible. I think that's what we called it. So we'll call the on visible thing. And so now in the movie list, we are passing end of page to on visible right there. So in the movie list JavaScript over here, now instead of saying root scope on, I'll just say this dot end of page is a function that you can then call. All right, will it work? First try. Self.onVisible is not a function. So the infinite scroll component. I wonder, am I allowed to pass functions down here? Look at the Angular guide. Binding or components? I see. Outputs are realized with ampersand bindings, which functions as callbacks to component events. So I want this to be an ampersand. And then you specify it like this. Eddie, you're very kind. Thank you for the gifts. Appreciate you. I think, yeah, it sounds muted right now, but thank you. Appreciate that. Did I miss any other support events? I think I got that one. Thank you. Okay. We do camel casing here, but then out here, I think we actually do like this dash casing. All right. Will this work? No, it doesn't. let me make sure I'm doing it right. So on delete ampersand. Intercomponent communication. That felt like it was it, but it doesn't seem to like it. Hey, Madeline, welcome in. Do I have to invoke it right here? Seems weird to like compared to like what we're used to like in the React world, but yeah, that did it. So we get down here and it fires the function. Cool. Okay, I think we got rid of root scope. Yeah, so we don't have root scope anymore. We basically pass a function to infinite scroll, and when infinite scroll becomes visible, it calls the function. So that's great. I'm happy about that. So now we can do the business. What I also want is a loading variable. So loading gets defaulted to true, and then after this, we'll set it to false. And we kind of just want this. I'm going to throw this into a little reusable function that's like get page, where you pass in, let's just say get next page. And yeah, it passes in this .current page, but we'll also increment the current page. Start off current page as 0. Grab the movies, push them into the array, say loading is false, but you can also say loading is true right there. Awesome. So what that allows us to do, and also we can say in here, so if we're already loading, don't do it again. We don't want to fire off a bunch of requests. We only want to fire off one request. And yeah, instead of having to do, well, all this needs to be self. I got that wrong. We can't use this in here. Cool. So in here, we should be able to say just get next page. Um, we need to fire this off when the page load, like when the component loads. So like by default, we call it. So that way, when the movie list loads, it gets the first page. You might need on init though. And then also, we should only show the infinite scroll thing if we're not loading. So let's also do that. So in the movie list component, if we are not control $control dot loading. If we're not loading, show the infinite scroll thing. Self dot loading equals false. Oh yeah, you're totally right. But somehow we're not getting the first page of results. Let me look at the network traffic. Yeah. Oh, did I do vif? we need ngif. Conditional directives. Yeah. Yeah, it's not VF, it's NGF. But you can tell where Vue got its directives from. Yeah, we're doing AngularJS today. All right, let's look at the network tab. Let's make sure that it's actually firing off. So if we look at network, look at XHR, it is not calling get next page. Oh, because we're defaulting loading to true. That's why. Okay, that's my fault. That was my fault. There we go. Okay, so now in the console we should see. Okay, it got page 1. Check this out. First try. We're gonna come down here, and then it. No, not first try. It immediately fired off. Get page 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I guess because it was visible again. Well, you know what? I think the infinite scroll component is potentially broken now. So like with the VIF, or sorry, the ngIf, we are removing it and then re-adding it. So I'm curious if it's not actually, it doesn't know that it has the old value. It doesn't know that it's like way lower in the list. Because like this should change. The moment it's not visible anymore. Okay. Okay, so it's like 8,000. Closer, closer. Yeah, as you can see this, the infinite scroll Y is showing up as 0. So one of them is now 0. I feel like we kind of need like a on dispose, so that way we remove the event listener. It's got to be something like that. Is there like a dispose event or like a unmounted? Um, yeah. Watching me do it instead of that's fun, Mythin. It just takes practice. I've been doing it a long time, I guess, which is why I'm decent at it. Um, what are we doing? I need to. I need to. When this thing is unmounted, I need to make sure that I don't add multiple scroll events. Um, let's see. On destroy. Why aren't we using scroll end versus scroll? I like that. I didn't see the event pop up in my autocomplete, but I'm open to doing that too. Destroy. It's the root scope though. I wonder if it's covered in components. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. We still need to fix this though, but yeah, I think that'll prevent it from firing even more. We also don't even need to do infinite scroll. We could literally just have like a next page button, but I don't know. This is fine. Okay, scroll end. It's gonna be better. I'll search the web. AngularJS component destroyed. I don't know the right terminology to use because I feel like even back then, like unmounted, wasn't really even a word people used. When exactly is the component destroyed? Disposed. The proper way to destroy Angular component. I don't want to destroy it. I want to know when it got destroyed. Unmounted? That's React. I guess since there's an ng on init, there must be like an ng on. Um, ng on destroy or something like that. Where did we use that? We use that in here or on init. It's just on init. Where can I find the list of all of these? Oh, here it is. Okay, on destroy. Called on a controller when its containing scope is destroyed. Use this hook for releasing external resources, watches, and. Whew, okay, that was hard to find, but we found it. So this dot on $ on destroy is going to be a function that removes the event listener. Scroll end. And then we'll put it in a variable called listener. It is a lot of dollar sign. I mean, have you ever worked with jQuery? There's a whole lot of jQuery in, there's a whole lot of dollar sign in jQuery too. Destroy. All right, let's see if this does what we need it to do. All right. What's up, Steven? Welcome in. And BJ Sebastian, thank you for the resub. Yeah, it's a there's a lot of money in, in Angular. It's a very rich, just like in PHP too. All right. So this is good. You can see I'm doing all this, and then it won't fire the event until the scroll end, which is cool. Destroyed, beautiful. It didn't fire off a bunch, and then now I can scroll. It didn't get page 2 though. This seems like page 1, but we're getting closer. This is much better though. You can see that finally we get there. It gets the next page of movies and it doesn't fire off the events. Beautiful, beautiful. This is what we want. This is what we want. What is my least favorite JavaScript framework or library or whatever? I don't have a least favorite. They all have their goods and bad, pros and cons. There is no perfect JavaScript framework. Yeah, I can't say React because I'm teaching React next week, but that's the thing. Okay. Getting page 1, getting page 2. So get popular movies. I'm passing the page in. Let's double check our service. To make sure it's actually passing this in. Console.log. Service getting page. Let's make sure that the page is making it to this function. And then we have API key and page equals that page. Let's make sure. It's undefined. It is undefined. Why? Because it's this dot. So, honestly, I mean, seeing me work with this dot everywhere is like, this is why we have arrow functions. This is why we don't like working with this everywhere. Because these are very common bugs back in the day. Very common bugs. But now we just use arrow functions and we don't have to worry about this or self or anything else like that. All right. Page 2. Oh, wow. Okay, we did it. We've got infinite scroll. We've got infinite scroll. And then there we go. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. Honestly, we should probably show like a little loading spinner. But insane. Okay. Here's now what we do is we test our, I'm going to remove all these extra logs. What happens on refresh? It just goes to the beginning. The data is not saved anywhere. It's like just in memory. Yeah, so we're using themoviedb. They have an API available. You have to sign up and you can get an API key, but then yeah, you can just call these endpoints. Right now, you can see we're just calling one endpoint. Popular movies, pass in our API key, pass in the page, and it gives us back all the data, including the images. Does a refresh reflect the Y position? It probably does, but check this out. Yeah, you're probably right. So if I do this, it just scrolls back up to the top because the data isn't on the page. But yeah, you're completely right. Like, if I wanted to maintain the page that we're on, I would need to put it in the query parameters or something like that. Keep scrolling so we can confirm. It's gonna stop at some point. I don't know how many pages, but let's see. Yeah, so right now I'm on like page 4. If I do a refresh, you can see that it is like it's not all the way. The scroll isn't all the way down here. It's up there, but it's because there was no data on the page when I refreshed. It's all the previous ones too. Yeah, I can show you. So, basically, I updated the logic to have the movie list has a array of pages, and then each page is an array of movies. So every new page we push into the pages array, and then in the template we iterate over all the pages to show each one. So yeah, so you can see we're on page 2 now, but I can always scroll back to the top to see page 1. Okay, what was I gonna do? Let's look at the list of possible features. So, popular movies with pagination and infinite scroll. Easy. Easy. We did that. So now we want a page for the individual movies. So we can see, like in this example, we click on this, and it shows us all this info. Yeah, let's show a loading spinner, and then we're gonna add the individual movie page. Or are we? What time is it? Oh no, I only have like 15 minutes left. Okay, so never mind. We're not. Honestly, we can in 15 minutes. I can get the single. Okay, I'll get a lot done. Here we go. Speed run. We first of all, we need a loading spinner. We're using Bootstrap version 3. Do they have an indeterminate loading spinner like progress bar? Progress bars. Animated? Thanks for the focus, James. Speed run. You 100% expected to see the word loading? Yeah, I mean, honestly, I guess it's not the end of the world. Let's do... forget it. We're not going to show a loading spinner. We are gonna say loading though. Like a little div. It'll say text center, and we want it to be nice and big, so we'll make it like an H2. Check it out. Loading, and then it loads everything, and then loading, and it loads everything. Honestly, I think the infinite scroll component we need to remove any. Yeah, like this thing doesn't even, it just has an empty template. Easy. Okay, so we got loading. Now, when I click a movie, I want to go to a movie's page. So let's set up the route. At the top level of our app, we set up the routes here. So now I need another one. So when we are at, let's say, movie/ID, I want the movie view. So this will be one individual movie that we want to look at. So let's add another folder. I'm just going to copy movie list. Going to rename it to movie view. And the template will just, for now, movie view. And then the component, we will call this movie view, and this is the movie view controller. We probably will need some of this. Okay, so this is going to be the movie view component. We need to add it to the page. So in our top level, just like we have the movie list, we need to add the movie view. Like that. And then when we click a movie in the movie list, we want to route to that. So honestly, we'll just make it on the title. So in the individual movie component, no, we'll make it on, we'll wrap the whole thing in a link. So right here, I actually want this to be like an ng link. Is that a thing? And like the href is movie slash movie.id. Maybe? I think I'll do this. Let's look at the docs. I mean, oh no, that's it. That's it. Yeah. Well, no. Never mind. No, never mind. ng href. Is that all I need? So just an anchor tag with ng href. No. So I needed to maintain the hash. We just need to look at the docs for routing. ng link. Yeah, ng link is what I want. This thing. I think ng link equals like movies or something like that. No. Routing and multiple views. Phone list. What does the phone list template look like? Yeah, and then, I mean, we definitely want route params. Let me go ahead and put that in there. Because that's going to give us the movie ID. We have 8 minutes to do this thing. In here, we want route params. Hopefully we get the ID. Templating links and images. It looks like they just manually do it. That's fine. That's fine by me. I'm not going to fight it. So in the movie list, we literally do href, but we say like this, movie/ID. Nice. And then this is the movie ID. We need to pass that into the API. So if we go to the API, we say get movie by ID. Anybody know what endpoint I'm looking for? I want one specific movie by ID from their API. There's movies. Oh, get details. This is it. So it's movie/movie ID. Beautiful. Beautiful. So let's add this in our service. So our service is going to do the hard work of making the API request, and then we'll use that data. So we have an endpoint called getMovie. We pass in the ID, and then we'll say, well, no, it's not even going to get used here. It's going to get used over here. So movie/ID. So it's going to be movie/the movie ID. Then we pass the API key in. That's going to give us all the data. For now, we'll look at result.data, but that should be an object with all that info. So on the movie view, we're going to say this on init, get the movie. So this on init function, and we'll say we have access to the service, so we can say movie service.get get movie with the ID. And then we get access to the movie. We'll log it. We should be logging it in 2 places now. But this is it. So now when this page loads, movie service.getMovie is not a function. Did I call it something else? Oh, I didn't expose it. Yeah, I gotta expose it. This.getMovie is getMovie. All right. Nice. Okay, so we get back the movie, and it has all this info that we want to display. Now it's just a matter of showing all of that info. Like, we could use, I don't think we even want to use, because we already have a single movie component. I don't think we want that because this is like 2-column layout. You know, so it's fine. This is fine. Let's just put it, first of all, let's just put it on the scope. So we'll say loading is false, but when we init, this dot loading is true. And then we get the movie, we'll set self.loading to false. And here we'll say self.movie is this movie that we just got back. Cool. And this dot movie starts off as null. So it's empty when the page loads. No, I don't I don't need type definitions. For now I'm just gonna look in the console. Like, I'm not too worried about like dev experience here. Obviously, I'm using Angular. I mean, I don't know if anybody's paid attention, but I've had like 0 type completion this whole time. I've had to look at the docs for everything. That's also a testament to like modern dev, where like the like TypeScript typings and everything are just like built in. Okay, I'm going to stop logging in the movie service, and then it's just a matter of the template. We have 4 minutes to do a template. Did I not do self? Oh, this one will work. So when you pass a function to on init, you can use this dot. This one will be okay, I believe. I think so. Okay, so now in our movie view template, we'll just have a little div. Actually, let's copy our loading that we had in our movie list. This one. We'll say loading. And we only want to show that if we are loading. Otherwise, we'll have a nice little div, 2-column layout. On the left-hand side, we'll show the poster. On the right-hand side, we'll show all of the info. I'm going to copy, you're right, in GIF. This is not Vue.js. I'm going to copy the image thingy that I did over here. Yeah, basically this. So, movie view template, left-hand side, show that. But now this is going to be controller.movie.poster path. Yeah, that makes sense. And then this should be easy enough. I'm going to make this Bootstrap grid should work for this. So make this a row, and then 2 columns. So column 6 on the left, column 6 on the right, and then we've got a bunch of info. So we want an H1 that has the title. And so that's going to be control.movie.title, should be anyways. Let's see. So now the page loads. Why is it on the next row? That's really weird. Regardless, it'll work for any of them now. So now if I click on this, see, it loads the info, which is great. Why is this not a 2-column? Am I crazy? Column 6, they're both. I need this. Yeah, that's what I need. Okay, so we've got title. Let's just look at avatar, because somewhere in this object is return to Pandora. Tagline. So we'll do like an H3. We want the tagline. Got 2 minutes. 2 minutes left. Return to Pandora. Beautiful. What else do we want? We want the rating. Easy. We have a rating component. Remember, we did it. So app rating, and then we can just pass in rating is control.movie. What was it? I guess I could just copy it. Maybe column 6 is, so this is Bootstrap 3, so it's possible that Bootstrap 3 didn't have it. What do I want? I just want to copy this. So I don't have to retype it. This. All right. So that shows you the benefit of components. Look at that. We get the rating. Below that, we'll throw all of the info. So language, runtime, and year. 1 minute left. I mean, I think we've kind of done it. At this point, it's just the template. It's just like picking all the stuff and writing it out. But we need to figure out what the right props are for this. So 8 4-column split, I agree with that. So like the text takes up potentially more room. Original language. Do we not have the full word English? Spoken languages? Spoken languages, repeat over spoken languages. The stars are empty. You're right. I might not be passing the right value down. I want vote average. Is that? I also only want to show this if movie is a thing. And I also left off controller dot on loading. But let's, I mean, honestly, yeah, so stars are there. Great. I think we're out of time. We are out of time, but we're actually really close. Let's also do this. So on the movie page, we want to have a little back button. Let's like get like, I think there's like a breadcrumb component in Bootstrap. So we'll link back to popular movies up here. Like this. Out of time. It's okay. Honestly, though, this was fine. Like I do not hate having to work with Angular today. This was totally fine. Let's only show this if there is a movie. Like that. So now, oh, that's pretty. That looks great. So now we have this. We can go back to popular movies. We can do something like Super Mario Brothers. It loads. We can go back to popular movies. We've got infinite scroll that we set up, so we can just keep scrolling. I should probably watch. I watched Matilda so much when I was a kid. But great. The rest of it's just templating. It's just pulling that data in and showing it. I didn't do genres. No, I'm gotta end here because I gotta get out of here. But I'm pretty sure all of this data is in that response. And then there's potentially another endpoint we can hit to get recommended videos. This is exciting though. Oh, I didn't realize they could do this. You can like sort by genre. The new one's fantastic. Okay, I'll definitely have to check it out. I am proud of what we did today. I mean, it's not that complex, but we used ancient technology to to build this thing. Look, I mean, honestly though, look how fast. It's still really fast. This is all client side. There's no rendering here, like server side rendering. It's all client side rendered. I'm actually very curious. Let's plug this into Lighthouse and see what score we get. Give me a second. And then I gotta get out of here. Okay. Are you ready? Does anybody want to take a guess as to what our score is going to be? We're using the API. The API is providing the images. I think we're going to get like an 80%. I think it's going to be just fine. 99%. 75, 80, 40. Okay. Well, we're using best practices apparently. 62 on performance, and why is that? The first contentful paint was 2.5 seconds. I don't know about all that. Look, the data is like literally instantly available. I don't know. Oh well, the site works. I guess here let me actually deploy it really quick because I'll like you can yeah, I think that's the main issue is we're loading a ton of JavaScript. Yeah, let me deploy. That was available. Fascinating. You can go here. Technically, my API key is visible. Don't steal it. I'll probably revoke it after the stream. But you should be able to go there and navigate the site. I mean, it's only as slow as your network traffic. It loads pretty quickly. Cool. I'll also push this up to GitHub so you can look at the code. But I guess the other thing to point out is like there's no build process here. Literally all the code that I wrote today is deployed at this CDN, and then when you go there, you're downloading all of the code that I wrote today. That is what is happening. There's nothing special. All the code is just running inside the web browser. It's pretty fast. It's pretty fast. It's IP rated. Oh, okay, that's good. Good to know then. Good to know. I mean, the only issue is like if somebody takes that key and decides that they want to use it in their own app, you get an error. Loading forever? Yeah, it's possible that well, I mean, I tested infinite scroll in Chromium and that looked like it was working. I probably just need to use Mutation Observer. That's my problem. It should not ask you for your credit card. Yeah, there might be something. I guess, so here's the other the other thing about not having a build process is all the code that I wrote is the code running. It works in IE8. Really? Do you have IE8 that you can test on? But modern processes use transpilers so that like you can use the latest features and then they convert it so that it'll work in any browser. And then the same thing happens with CSS. So if you typically use a tool like Post CSS, which auto prefixes, it has plugins for auto prefixing and stuff like that. Oh, just a guess. Yeah, I don't know. It might. There might be some weird things we're doing that might not work in IE8. Okay. Here's the code. Thank you everybody for hanging out. This was pretty fun. I don't think I'm going to work on this on stream again, but I probably, if you want to keep an eye on the repo, I am going to add all of the other features. So I'll very likely go in here to the movie view and the template and add out the rest of the data and potentially make one more API request, but I'm not going to work on this on stream again. But basically the reason I built this is I want to talk about why we use tools like transpilers and bundlers and minifiers and package managers, because this right now, this is our package management. We have links in our HTML file. That's our package management. And then whenever somebody goes to the site, they literally have to download this many JavaScript files and the library files and the CSS files. So modern build tools basically take all of this, put it into a small bundle or like a lazy loaded bundle, and like really optimize the way the page is loaded. So that's why I built this, is so that I can talk about that. Did I link it? I linked it. All right. Thank you everybody for hanging out. This was fun. This was a nice trip down memory lane. And take a look at the schedule. So I'll be live again on Wednesday. The plan for Wednesday is to do a React code Q&A. So if you are new to React, or maybe you're not new and you just have some questions about React, on Wednesday, if you go to this site, it should be in your time zone. I'm gonna answer any question you have about React. I'll probably answer other questions too, but the focus is to be on React, so we can talk about, even if you're a beginner to React, or maybe you're confused about props, or maybe you want to talk about state management, I will answer all of your React questions on Wednesday. So definitely hang out for that. And Rob, thank you for the Prime. You're new. Thank you for the Prime. I don't know if I missed that, BJ Sebastian, but thank you for the 15 months. Sick of React. It is what it is. This is the timeline that we're on. React got real popular and now everybody uses it. So check out my YouTube. I do have a course that'll be starting next week, which is about React. So check out reactroots.com if you want more info on that. And follow me on Twitter. We also have a Discord. And I have a mailing list. If you want to get go live notifications or weekly updates, definitely sign up for that. All right, let's go. If you are a sub, you can use this raid message. If you're not a sub, you can use this raid message. And wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And until next time, here's this.